What?
Do you need to get off the phone with me now?
Oh, it says I'm live.
Okay.
Yeah, bye. Holy crap. Okay, hold on. Let me get this situated. Now I've got earphones in. I'm very disoriented. 9th time's the charm. And how do I get this to go down? Sorry, guys, if you were a part of that fiasco. This is crazy. It wouldn't let me go live from my phone. Thank you, guys. So this is really annoying in my ear, I feel like. Can you guys hear me if I just do that? Also, that thumbnail was pretty pretty funny. I had no idea that I was taking my picture, so I might have to go back and change that. Hi. Okay, so please bear with me because I have never used this format before. I've never used my computer like this. I've barely ever used my computer. I literally just had to download Google or Chrome to do all of this. Sounds okay? Good. That's really all I care about. Hi, guys. Thanks for sticking with me here for the 9 hours of technical difficulties. Hopefully, if somebody was over in the other, I don't know if you guys got a notification, but if somebody was over, if there are people in like one of the 9 other live streams that I created in the past 5 minutes, can you please tell those people that this is where it's happening? It's going down, sir. It's going down. So, okay. I don't like that. I hate new stuff. I don't know how to use Google Chrome. I've got tabs all over the place now. But let's just get into it. So I wanted to do what I did last time and just go through, cool, hi. I wanted to go through just all of the stuff that I've seen, since I last saw you guys, all of the like news stuff I came across. And then we'll kind of, again, get into discussions, questions, yada, yada, which I'm actually eager to get to just because with everything that happened this last weekend, if you guys are feeling like me and just, yeah, there's a lot. It's been very heavy. It's been very disheartening. And so, that's a really important thing I want to talk to you guys about. But so in this one, I've got a few things. We're going to talk about 8chan being down, obviously, a little bit about the shootings over the weekend and some anomalies, I guess we'll say. We'll talk about, there's a hoax photo that's circulating that I want to clarify with you guys. There's some Epstein news, as well as a sex scandal at the FBI, and some related Peter Strzrok effery. So, but before we get into all of that, I wanted to, if you guys will see in this description below, hopefully I did it right. You should have all of my links down below. I've got the first one on there is something that happened a while ago, but we all know very well. I just saw it coming back up again. Was it today or yesterday? All my days are bleeding together. But the remarks that Trump made about the very fine people. And I thought we were kind of past this, but apparently we're not. And I know that I myself have shown this to people recently and had their minds be blown because they could not believe how the media lied about this. So obviously they, this would be a lot easier if I could just show the video, but the link is below. I even have the timestamps on it. So obviously the soundbite that we heard in the news was, we hear that there were like neo-Nazis, white nationalists at this thing. And he's saying, these are very fine people. And the talking point from that is everybody in the media was saying, Trump was saying that Nazis are very fine people. Well, if you listen to the entire statement, which the whole press conference was over an hour, but only a mere 60 seconds later, if that, he says specifically, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally. So he clarified what he meant by that. That's not called taking somebody out of context even. That's just a straight up lie because he clarified exactly what he meant by that. That there were good people that were there that before the Nazis showed up, and then a Nazi comes and stands next to you, that's not your fault. So Anyway, I saw that being circulated again yesterday, and a lot of people trying to, argue that whatever. I've showed that to a bunch of people because, interestingly enough, a lot of the people that I've talked to that were convinced that Trump is a racist was based on that comment almost completely, just solely. So I think that's an important thing to have in your, I don't even want to use the word arsenal these days. It's just like have in your pocket, let's say, to show people when they try to tell you that he said that Nazis are very fine people. So some of you might know that 8chan right now is down. After what happened this last weekend, Cloudflare, which I guess is a service that protected 8chan from DDoS attacks, which is what, typically would take a site down. Basically, it was just like, we're not going to work with them anymore. They are a lawless company and yada, yada. So right now, they are in the process of switching to a different company. So they're down. I've seen some people say it's back up. I've tried going to it. It's not working for me. So I don't know if it's still down completely. But it should be back and it should be migrated, I guess, at some point with everything there. So also, we've got a lot of silence from Q. And I know that that's really hard in the community for a lot of people that look to Q for guidance, or at least to just be like, everything's okay, or just something, anything. So literally right now, as far as I know, Q can't contact us because their one line of communication is down. Hi, guys. So part of why they were taken down is that 8chan was being blamed for inciting violence or being a platform that allows this lawlessness or whatever. And this is the cause of why these maniacs are shooting places up. So the story, I think, after it broke, people were saying that the shooter posted on there that he was the El Paso shooter posted on there that, what he was going to do and put up his manifesto or whatever. And it was all going down on 8chan. I believe this morning, it might have been last night, the owner of 8chan, Jim Watkins, released a message stating that the El Paso shooter posted initially to Instagram, not 8chan. But I'm not seeing any hate towards Instagram. And that the shooter's manifesto was later posted by somebody else, not even the shooter. So I have that link down below too. It's the 8chan Twitter page, I believe, has it pinned to the top, is this statement by the owner of 8chan. So I don't want to talk a whole ton about just the shootings and stuff. I'm sure you guys are getting it from everywhere. And I will just say that there are things about these stories that just stink to me. One of them is that I'm seeing at least 2 or 3 definitely different people, photographs of different people being called the same name. So basically they're like, this is, what's his name? Patrick, who cares? Patrick something. Like, and even the same news sources, like some of them were I think 2 things I posted yesterday, New York Post was like, Patrick something, was the shooter, Patrick something this, and it's 2 different pictures that they have, and they are completely different people. And then I saw another thing that had a third guy that definitely was not the same person. It's like they can't even agree what this guy looks like. After it happened, I saw a few different videos of eyewitnesses. I linked a couple below. One is a woman. Unfortunately, she's speaking in Spanish. I speak a little bit of Spanish, enough to understand what she was saying, but I had to keep pausing it and, okay, that's what that, whatever. But still, I mean, it's not too hard these days to go and translate things. Where she's saying she saw at least 3 to 4 shooters. And she was in the Walmart. She was, she was with her family and told them all to get down on the ground. And she said that she watched them all walk by her, that they were wearing shorts, all in black, and that they walked in formation by her. And then there's another guy who I also linked below, who said that he saw a shooter who was wearing all black and was wearing a mask. And we saw pictures of the shooter. He was wearing khaki pants. We saw even images of him walking in the door, I guess, from security cam footage, and he wasn't wearing a mask. I saw things saying that he was wearing. It's kind of like all over the place. I also saw a photo yesterday. I don't think I linked this down below, but I have it on my Twitter. I retweeted it yesterday, and I haven't tweeted so much, so you'd be able to find it. It's like probably within 10 tweets of two guys, and neither of them is the initial guy that we saw pictures of with the khaki cargo pants, standing outside holding guns. So I don't know. Just basically, the whole thing just stinks. It's like the Las Vegas thing where nothing's adding up. Nothing is, like, as far as the initial stories, what's coming out, nothing is cohesive. We also had, I don't really get this. All I know is that since I've been looking into all of this stuff, something that comes up a lot for some reason is that every time there's an event like this, a shooting, the Anons find some where they do these crisis events where they are trying to, they say they need actors, and it's to exercise their, the cops and the emergency people or whatever. So somebody found this. It's from Human Domain Solutions, and I have the link to the site below so you can see it yourself. It says seeking casualty role players, so like actors to go and act wounded or whatever. Human Domain Solutions LLC is now hiring casualty role players / actors to participate in Vigilant Guard Ohio, the largest disaster and emergency response exercise in state history, taking place August 5th through 8th, which is obviously a few days after this happened. But still, they're talking about Dayton, Ohio. And it says actors will assist in testing civilian, state, and federal entities on their emergency response to natural disaster, hazardous material accidents, civil disturbances, and radiological incidents by acting as mock accident victims. Pay range for the exercise is $120 to $375. Lunch, snacks, and water / soft drinks will be provided. So on its own, like, first of all, I don't really get those. But on its own, that really doesn't say much. I think it's just the fact that every time we see one of these incidents, I happen to see somebody post something that one of these role-playing things is happening in that particular city around that time. So that's strange. I saw this and wanted to add it. Also, during the initial, actually, where I found out that the first shooting was happening was Brendan Dilley. Brendan Dilley is somebody that I follow on Twitter. He's a guy that does a live stream every Monday through Friday. And he was posting actually some really great information. And his information always seems to check out. I don't know what his sources are. I know he's got some sources and whatever, but they always end up panning out as far as I know. And his sources were saying these were possibly multiple shooters. They were targeting Target and Walmart. And basically all he was saying was, if you live in these areas, please stay inside. And, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You literally spend an afternoon in your house and you're out nothing. But if I'm right, it could save your life. So then Twitter decides to take it upon themselves that moment to delete not only his one account, but both of his accounts. So both of his accounts were gone. That's crazy to me because he could have been saving lives, and it was just very strange. But he's back now. I think his new Twitter handle is @SirHubLife. I followed him when he came back. So if you are looking for him, just go into who I recently followed. Then this next thing, I wasn't sure if I was going to put this in here or not because well, you'll see, but we'll go over this just a little bit. There's this, I guess the ex-girlfriend of the shooter put this blog post out, and it kind of makes me roll my eyes. I don't like when people are like, I don't know. I guess there's good information in here, stuff that I guess that we should know. I don't like the idea of people trying to get famous off of tragedies like this, and so I don't like to give them any attention, but at the same time, I don't know, we'll go over it. But basically, I read it. It's not very long. I did link it below. She says that she knew he was mentally ill, but that it was something that they laughed about together. And he would even joke with her about, quote, wanting to hurt people. She admitted that on their first date, he made her watch the video of the synagogue shooting as he gave her the play-by-play of what was happening. And she said he would call her drunk and tell her that he wanted to, quote, hurt a lot of people. I think there's also a story in there about how she went with him one day to drop off this like very menacing letter to his ex-girlfriend's new house that said, quote, "Welcome to the neighborhood. You can't outrun your past. Signed, your neighbor." Like very ominous, strange, not normal behavior. She said that he also admitted to her that he, quote, sometimes got uncontrollable urges to do things, and gave her an example of the time he burned down an abandoned building. So all of these red flags, and of course, you know, the blame isn't on her, but at the same time, just the way that it was written, it made me it made me mad, because it shows this, I think something that does contribute to this is our relationship now to mental illness, and that like this is somehow like a badge of honor. These things that, you know, this is just this thing about me that makes me quirky, and everybody's got their different stuff, but and it's on some level, like I get that, but when we're talking about real mental illness, it needs to be taken seriously. And you know, it just needs to be taken seriously. And it ended with her saying, like, you know, even he believed that mentally ill people like himself shouldn't have access to guns, which is like very conveniently goes along with the narrative that's being spun and what they're trying to use this for now, which is to and basically gun grab, but at the very least, implement these red flag laws. And it made me think, because on one hand, you're like, okay, that sounds like it makes sense. You would have people that just were mentally ill and people would report them. And of course, you know, these people like him should not have had access to guns. But think about what that girl had said about him, and think about that whole entire story. In this story, when I look back at it, and let's say these red flag, you know, laws were in place for them, who would have been the most likely to report somebody in this story? Would it have been the girl that was laughing with him and being like, oh, we're both mentally ill? Probably not. Honestly, probably the person most likely to have gotten reported for these red flag laws would have been the ex-girlfriend that he sent that video or that letter to, or dropped that letter off, because people don't tend to report on their family or their loved ones, you know, when things like that go down. It's almost like these things are more used for someone when they have a vendetta against another person. Like look at all of the accounts that get taken down on our social media. I mean, Twitter, especially, just because I'm on Twitter all the time, I see people dropping like flies for doing literally nothing. And it's not because of what they did is worse than what this person did over there, because I see people over here doing and saying way worse things, and those things fly. But these people get their accounts deleted because someone's like, oh, they're crazy, or this is hate speech, and poof, they're gone. So anyway, that whole thing was really annoying. Another thing that was weighing on me pretty heavily, Mitch McConnell fell and broke his shoulder. Mitch McConnell had polio when he was a child, and I think he has something, he has issues with one of his legs, I believe, from that, and he is prone to tripping. I've seen him tripping. I've seen videos of him tripping a few times. It is not that Mitch McConnell is, you know, has some like soft spot in my heart. It's you know, I don't have any like special connection to Mitch McConnell, other than he's a human being. And when I saw yesterday the report, somebody had tweeted the report of him falling and breaking his shoulder, I read the comments underneath them, and they were so vile and so disgusting that it literally made me cry. Not necessarily just for Mitch and feeling sorry for him, but just in the state of humanity right now. It was really sick and sad. Then last night, or this morning, I wake up and see that last night he had protesters show up to his home. So he falls, he breaks his shoulder. He's at home recuperating, I imagine. Protesters show up to his house and start shouting things like death threats. I even saw a photo there of a child holding up a sign that says Mitch McConnell, more like bitch McConnell, like a 6 or 7-year-old girl. And you can find videos of this all over the place. I saw it all over on Twitter, just nasty things, people saying he should get like stabbed in the heart. And it's just gross. I can't even believe that this is the state of humanity. I can't even believe that certain people can justify that kind of behavior. But anyway, then we're going to go to this hoax photo. Ouch, I was sitting on my leg again and it's asleep. So obviously this would be a lot better if I could show you the photo, but it's on my Twitter. I linked it below. This photo had been circulating. It got dropped on 8chan. I saw it a few times. I'll admit when I saw it, I think I even shared. There are like a couple friends that I have a chat going with, text chat, and like I'll send them anything because I know that they won't pass anything along without vetting it. I won't just retweet anything, but I will admit that sometimes I see things and initially get excited or whatever, and I'll share it with those friends because it's not in danger of going too far if it's not real. But I did see this picture getting passed around, and it was like this bedroom scene, and you can see this woman sitting in a chair, and there's a toilet, and it's a very strange scene. But somebody had taken it and like the virtual marker and blacked out certain parts of it, like a big blob on the bed, and had something like running down the bed, and then this whole thing was blacked out over here, and then there were little black things over here, and it had writing on it that was like basically saying what was going on underneath the censored parts, and on this bed or whatever. Well, lo and behold, then today I find the original photo circulating without any of those black marks on there, and there's literally nothing happening. There's nothing on the bed. It's just a made bed. All these little black parts that were supposedly covering something up were not covering anything. They even kind of alluded to this woman sitting in the corner was Hillary. It wasn't Hillary. So we just have to be very careful when we see these things to just vet it, make sure everything. There are so many things. I follow a bunch of really great accounts even on Instagram. The people on Instagram for some reason tend to go a little bit further than the people on Twitter. And I'm constantly seeing stuff like, whoa, is that real? Is that real? So I have to like calm myself for a second, look it up, see if I can find it myself. If I find it myself, I'll share it. If I can't, then I don't. It's very important because we are targets for people to make us look crazy. And every time we share something that ends up to be an obvious hoax that people can then later prove is a hoax or not real, it is bad for all of us. So we have to be very vigilant, very careful every time we see something, even as exciting. Just take a second, you always, when you see something massive happening, it's, we all have that in us. We want to be like the first person to share it with, the people that we know, people that we talk to. Just take a chill pill. Okay, so last couple things here. Florida governor orders criminal probe into handling of prior Jeffrey Epstein case. So this is good. This is very good, I think. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis directed his state's law enforcement department to handle a criminal probe into Jeffrey Epstein's jail work release in the late 2000s. DeSantis also asked the agency to launch an inquiry into, quote, other irregularities surrounding an earlier state probe and a plea agreement with Epstein. So we all know that the plea agreement that Jeffrey Epstein got for his touching of underage girls was a joke. His jail sentence was a joke. Him being allowed out on work release was a joke, and it had every bit to do with who he was connected to and how much money he had, etc. So it's very good that this is being investigated. It's about time. Then we've got a couple things about Peter Strzok. Remember, Peter Strzok was the guy that worked at the FBI. He had the lover, Lisa Page, and their text messages were made public because they were pertinent to the job that they were doing. It proved that they were very biased in their handling of their jobs. So he is now suing the DOJ over the handling, basically making his text messages public. He's also saying that, law enforcement was being bullied into coming down hard on him, et cetera, et cetera. Well, also, he's also in the news because there is a sex scandal going on at the FBI. It says high-ranking FBI insiders say they reported top-level FBI brass for continued sexual romps with CNN reporters. But former FBI Director James Comey and his successor, Christopher Wray, looked the other way. The extramarital affair between fired FBI boss Peter Strzok and FBI top lawyer Lisa Page is public knowledge. Page has resigned from the Bureau. Here's what we know. High-level FBI officials complained to the highest executive offices that the FBI and Strzok and more top agents were engaged in sexual relationships with CNN's on-air personnel. Those high-ranking sources say top management did not investigate the reports and the relationships continued, and the sexual romps might still continue today. So why is that a problem? Well, that's a problem because when you're in bed with somebody, you might tell them stuff that you probably shouldn't tell them if you are a high-ranking FBI agent. So, and especially not somebody that's in the media. So I have all of those linked below. You guys can go and read them and look further into them. I actually see here that I missed a couple things that I meant to add on there. One was just a story about another mass shooter that was actually stopped by law enforcement in Texas. That's from yesterday, or maybe even 2 days ago. He was planning to carry out a mass shooting at a Texas hotel. I can put that in the links when I'm done with this. And then what was this one? Oh, this was also about the dumb shooter. This is the Dayton. This is the dumb Dayton killer that he was once kicked out of school after creating a list of girls he wanted to kill. So I will put those in when we're done with this, if I can figure it out. But anyway, I think that was all that I had for you guys with that. But I did want to talk just chat because of everything that's going on. And I see a lot of people that I really look up to in the community. The people that I kind of turn my gaze to when I'm looking for strength or looking for them to make sense of things or make things not seem so grim or whatever. And I'm even seeing those people now kind of, I won't say losing hope, but just being like enough is enough already. And I get it. I had to do that yesterday. Yesterday I had to take a break. I had to disconnect and not look at anything anymore, especially after all of the stuff that was going on with the shootings. And I was just completely enveloped in all of that for a time. And then, there's this element of just finding, we know what we're doing. We know what we're fighting. We know what we're up against, and we find this strength in each other. But the second there's human life loss, there's like that tangible thing that you can't just jolly your way through. It takes a toll on all of us. So basically I would just, want to encourage you guys that if you are feeling that way, that you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling discouraged, whatever, it's okay to take a break from this stuff. I know that a lot of us feel like it's our mission to help keep people informed and to be informed ourselves. And that's great, but it's also okay to disconnect for a little while and just, just enter the matrix for a little bit and just take the blue pill for just like a few hours. Do I think these are bogus banners to take our guns? I don't know. And obviously I've got my suspicions and I obviously have like my thoughts. That's a topic that I'm very afraid to get into. And so, unfortunately we can't really talk about stuff like that super openly. But yes, thank you to you who says that bogus banners do not mean a hoax, FYI. That's true. And thank you for pointing that out, because I have seen that a lot lately. People think that means that like this event didn't happen and it's all just made up or staged or whatever. That's not necessarily what that means. The only way to get the media to stop lying is to rescind the propaganda law Obama passed. It's that simple. I don't know if it's that simple, but that's definitely a part of it that needs to happen. I look like a 22-year-old college grad. Oh my God. It's probably because I'm super greasy right now. Because I'm like sweating. You have no idea. I was running. I had to download Chrome. That was a big mess. I still don't even know why it wouldn't let me go live from my phone. I've got like 9 other live chats right now going on simultaneously on my channel. Agenda, painting truthers to look like terrorists. Well, that's definitely part of it, isn't it? And it is very, well, first of all, a couple things. We had the FBI document that was supposedly like painting the QAnon movement to be a domestic terrorist organization. And then we also had, what was the other thing I was going to say? We had Q saying, basically warning us a couple days before all this stuff went down to be alert, to be ready. Something I want to clarify about that. First of all, if these are what we think they are, and I do tend to gravitate towards these instances not being isolated, that they are more connected, and they happen for certain specific reasons. When the Q team might know that it is highly likely that these things are going to happen at certain times because they're used to distract, or they're used to take attention away from things, or they're used to push certain things. So they might know just based on logic, okay, these things might be coming down the pipe, but that doesn't mean that they know when or how or where. So they told us to basically be vigilant and to, see something, say something, because they were able to know, that these were probably going to happen. I'm sure they have to be very careful. What was it? There was a guy, I don't know what to make of these, like Jack Posobiec and Mike Cernovich and that whole group of people. I don't follow them anymore. And I know that they're like controlled opposition or whatever. Every once in a while I'll see a tweet from them that I like, because I'm like, okay, well, whatever, I like that. But there's some guy that they were friends with that, I don't know, there was some weird post. I think it was Mike Cernovich said, this guy Ali called me and he was like, something's going to go down in Dayton or something like that. And so people were getting mad. They're like, are you saying that you had prior knowledge to this and you didn't do anything about it? Well, first of all, it doesn't mean that they didn't do anything about it. I don't know how they knew what. I don't know what that whole thing was about, but it just shows that you have to be very careful. If you did have prior knowledge of just anything, it might not even be anything specific, but you start to see a pattern form and you're like, okay, well, X just happened, and so Y and Z are the next logical steps. We keep seeing this happen over and over again. Unfortunately, you're going to have to be careful with who you say that to, because if something does happen, people are going to turn to you and be like, how did you know that? Are you a part of it? So, Jack and Mike are garbage. You know what? I believe it. That's fine. I've seen that too. I think that they've, who knows? Who cares? Oh yeah, I did see that. Thank you very much for reminding me. Oh, I should have put that. I'm going to put that in the description too. There's also a really great graphic that's showing, Q also kept alluding to August is going to be very hot. They said that a few times, hot in all caps. And then we had the El Paso shooting, which the old El Paso salsa, and then the other was at Ned Pepper's. So that was interesting. Then you also have Nancy Pelosi had this very strange comment the other day. Was it yesterday? Where she's like, how she's, she is. She was like, and we are going to make sure that August is a very hot month or something like that. And it didn't make any sense. You could even see the people on the panel, like behind her being like, like, I don't even know what that meant. So are these communications going back and forth between the, good guys and the bad guys? I have no idea. I still don't know what hot meant, but that was a good graphic that I saw that could possibly give us an explanation. Was it a tweet that she had being hot also? I don't know if she had a tweet. I didn't see a tweet, but I did see a video of her saying that we're going to light a fire under them in August and, make it hot or whatever. It's like the psychic who offers to help the police solve a crime who then gets arrested for the crime. Yes, unfortunately, if you have this kind of gift, you got to kind of keep it to yourself, don't you? Bruce Orr memos were supposed to drop today. Now Thursday, I think, per Tom Fitton. That's interesting. Oh, everyone look into 811 Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah, I did see stuff about that too. I haven't gone down that hole yet. Pelosi acts to me like Trump is controlling her with the steer prod. Do you remember that when he was giving that speech and she was sitting behind him going, like these like just condescending claps? I don't know what the dynamic is there. It's very weird. I don't know if she's just drunk or on methamphetamines. Like, it's weird. I saw it in a tweet or a PDF. I definitely read it. Interesting. Maybe somebody turned it into, maybe somebody wrote it down after the video. Hot means bullets fly. Interesting. I don't know what that means. Are you following the stuff with Google? Trump tweeted today. I did see that just a little bit that Trump was highlighting Google. I didn't really see much about what it was. He had a meeting today, right, with some head of Google. I mean, we all know. I mean, I'm literally sitting here on a Chrome app on YouTube, which is owned by Google, discussing Google. So yeah, I like to live dangerously. Who's a reptilian? I saved a lizard from my pool today. It was a big guy too. And then we had a moment. He kind of looked at me and he was like, I used a mini boogie board to lift him out. Meth is a hell of a drug. No, she was talking about the vacation of Congress to meet their constituents. Yeah, so that's the other thing too. Now they're talking about they want to bring Congress back from recess or whatever early because of all of this stuff. But I believe they can be arrested during their recess and they can't be arrested otherwise, something like that. So I think I'd like them to stay in recess. If 8chan doesn't come back, neither does Q. He said no outside comms. Yeah, that's interesting. I know. I really think 8chan will be back, though. And I don't know. I don't know if I have belief that they would find a way. My feed went dead on you for a second. Yeah, well, we like our technical difficulties here. Uh-oh. Do we have a troll? Yeah, so I know a lot of people were getting very just frustrated. It's hard, especially to people that have been following this for years now, to like just sit and watch bad people still doing things and getting away with things and walking free and nothing happening. And it gets hard at some point to trust the plan. There's always kind of something in the not so far distance that they're like, okay, if we just make it to this, now we've got Dan Coates leaving on August 15th. And it's just like, okay, well, nothing can really happen until he's gone. And then, before it was like, well, Comey's got to go. And then we have to get the Mueller report. And then we've got to do this. So, but also it makes sense because this does have to be a very meticulous plan. These things do have to happen in their own time. And of course we want it like yesterday. I don't know at what point it would take me to give up. I'm not there yet, and I'm not close to being there. Although I feel disheartened at times and like, just like heavy and tired and whatever. Definitely staying in contact with people that, other people in this community talking about all this stuff. Definitely keeps me going. Other people are strong when you're weak and vice versa. We can kind of be there for each other. I really don't know what it would take, though, to get me to be like, okay, I'm done. But a lot, because this is literally everything is riding on the fact that something is being done about this insane corruption. And if you want to talk about like anything, like, you know, if you want to talk about conspiracy theories, it basically all leads back to corruption. The reason that we don't have the answers to anything, we know so little about even our own human bodies, and how they work and whatever, is due to these evil people that keep things from us. And so this is very frustrating. Big shifts coming. Yep, I keep seeing that too. And I'm very hopeful for that, but I'm also not trying to get attached to any particular date for anything, because I have been born before. 8:15 is pivotal for many reasons. I'm seeing that a lot too. I saw a little mini video, but I actually couldn't even watch it with the sound on, so I don't really know what I was watching. But those are the whisperings that I'm hearing. The planet Nibiru. I'm sorry, guys. I try. Was announced in the 80s as passing by Earth in approximately 35 to 40 years. It is said to have a lot of smaller objects in its wake due to its immense gravity. We give up when we're dead. Truth is more addicting than adrenochrome. Well, I'm with you on that first part. It's true. I mean, this is a what's that called? A whatever, zero-sum game. Like, we don't have a choice. I don't watch iPod, but I mean, I have. I like it a lot. I don't watch really anything super all the time right now, but I want to. I did start reading the Committee of 300. Starts out with a bang. I'm only like one chapter in so far, so. But I will say I recommend it so far. It's very interesting. The winner of this year will write the next generation of history books. Well, isn't that the way it always is throughout the history of the world? Think in terms of quantum mechanics. Yes, I try to always think in terms of quantum mechanics. I don't even know. I don't know. I wish I could be that smart. It all comes down to narcissism, psychopathy. That's what creates the corruption and the conspiracies. Everyone beware that new 8chan is not endorsed by 8chan or affiliated with it in any way. Thank you for bringing that up, because I did see, I was having people send me links to this thing. What is it? Like I'm going to show how stupid I am when it comes to the internet. Is it on like a different internet? It's on like the dark web or something that I was seeing, or like you have to download an app for it. It's not, you can't just put this link into your browser and just go there, right? So I was actually afraid to try it because I don't know what it is and I don't trust it yet. I will wait for the official 8chan to come back. Quantum, everything is energy. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. We need people arrested to show law and order. Well, isn't that just the truth? If we don't start seeing some arrests, it's very hard to, you know, it's like playing a board game with a 3-year-old who just keeps making up the rules. It's super, like, what do you do? Like, you'll appease them for a while and then you just get super frustrated, and it's like, you know, do what I do is I just tip the table over on them and scream. I'm just kidding. I would never do that. No, the chan is down. Watch Code Monkey on Twitter for updates. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. So it's still down. Code Monkey on Twitter. He's what, the board owner or something like that? I do follow him. I'm not exactly totally clear on who he is, but I know he's important. And he does give updates on 8chan. I don't even know what Tor is. I heard a rumor that 8chan can be found on Tor right now, but I think that is that's what I'm talking about. I don't know if that's to be trusted. Yeah, so just I would go check out Code Monkey's tweets. 353 members of Congress and 318 had sexual misconduct/harassment cases paid for by us, and we don't even get to know who, and that's how much we matter. Exactly. They had these slush funds, right? Yeah, like there can't be two sets of rules. There cannot. Doesn't matter who you are or what, does not. A 3-year-old bested you in tic-tac-toe. Court TV is coming back on and arrests are coming. Oops. What were they saying about, I saw something about them they were going to make the military tribunals available to the public. That would be very interesting. I watch everyone. Some of those I don't even recognize. I've never heard of before. So that's cool. Lots to check out, which is actually kind of frustrating. Like, come on. There's just too much. Have you heard of the Sanctum cult? Yes. Yeah. Who was that? Those were a couple other celebrities, right? It's kind of very closely related to the Nexium, right? Was it? No, I don't even want to say because I don't really remember. But it was like an actress, right? That's something else I need to look into. Burn. Tor is something that helps keep your browsing anonymity. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, as you guys know, I'm lost when it comes to technology. I don't even know how to work my own computer. I've had it since December. Red shoes. Oh, thank you for that link. Ron said, currently setting up 5 more onion routes to help ease some of the bottlenecks into our hidden service. Hidden service. So that's the 8chan thing, right? Yeah, I wonder, have they said anything about how long it will take? Have you heard of the Kalki Hindu prophecy? No, I haven't. Anything you guys ever want to send me, I always really appreciate that. My email address is thekateawakening@gmail.com. Yeah, because there are a million things that I would love to look into. I hope we have disclosure soon. I need to tell lots of people I told you so. They think I'm a conspiracy kook. Yeah, I mean, I definitely have those fantasies of being right one day, but at the same time, you know, whatever. Yes, I agree with you. I feel that same way. Bill Red Shoes Mar, supposedly. Oh, is he connected to that? Sanctum. Is that how you pronounce that? SNCTM. I thought I saw some actress. I was going to say Gwyneth Paltrow, but I don't think that's right, connected to that. Did you see the photo of Code Monkey on Marine One? No, I didn't. That's interesting. Seems like your hair got done recently. No, it didn't. It's super greasy, actually. If you must know. And my neck hurts really bad right now. It's because I'm sitting kind of wonky. And I'm sitting on my foot again, which I'm going to regret it. I know. You guys are going to yell at me. Everyone's like, don't sit on your foot. We need to get together for a question answer time. I can explain these things to you in a way that will make real sense. The alien thing is not exactly what most think it is. Interesting. Thank you. Discuss the letter from Congress to Jim the BO. No. I don't think I know what that is. The Brave browser has a Tor feature too. Not sure how good it works. I literally, this whole thing puts a wrench in my system because I don't even use 8chan properly. I have I have the, what is it called? Like the menu page saved in my bookmarks so that I can always get back there. And then I use that to get into the smaller discussion groups. But I had somebody actually leave a comment on one of my first videos the other day about, because I discussed kind of the dynamic of 8chan and why you really shouldn't just go straight in and straight to posting or, I think this person was, I don't want to say offended, but they didn't like that idea. It didn't sound very nice to them. And I understand that. It doesn't, because I was basically saying they're going to make fun of you. They're going to, whatever. If you go in there and you're new and you just start posting. But on one hand, instead of thinking of it as a social media site, think of it as like a work site. And I said, basically, picture walking into a room where there's a big table and there are a ton of people just standing and sitting around this table and all discussing things together. And on the table, there are these huge stacks of papers, and they're going through these papers and they're discussing them and they're sorting them and going through them. And they've got these important discussions going on. And you walk in the room and you take your piece of paper and you slam it down on top of you, like, hey, everybody, look at this. If your information is good, then they'll forgive you. They'll be like, okay, whatever. But if you're just interrupting them, they're going to get annoyed with you. And keep in mind that it's not just you doing that, it's hundreds of people. So if you think about these people as actually doing important work in there, you don't technically, like, I think I've seen the rule, like, wait 2 years before you make a post in there. Obviously, you're anonymous. If you don't make it obvious that you're new, then nobody's going to give you a hard time. But hi, thank you so much. But it's me, Amy. Thank you so much. But if you it's like anything, you wouldn't walk into a new, like, you would learn the dynamic of something first before you just inject yourself into it. And so these people do have their own system, their own language. And so it is good to just kind of monitor first and see what these people are talking about. Plus, if you're new, you're most likely going to drop some kind of information that these people have already been talking about. They already have a separate category for that over here. And so it just kind of trips them up. But if you've got good information and whatever, you want to get it directly to that kind of, it's kind of like I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is right now. Like a factory. It's like the factory where all of this information comes and gets put together. Then go for it. Thank you so much. Shot clips. Thank you. The flower of life is found on most crop circles. It was first seen in the temple of Osiris in Abydos, Egypt, thousands of years ago. Osiris is just a name for Lucifer. Isn't everything a different name for Lucifer? I swear to God. It's crazy. But I do really love crop circles. Oh, guys, I wanted to show you guys that book. I'll do that next time. I have that book of crop circles and stuff that it was like my red pill moment when I was 9. But I think we just I always thought, I didn't realize how often or how common crop circles were because, I think on my other Twitter page, I have a header that is a crop circle that was from last year or the year before that it looks like a giant Q. It's really cool. And then there was one that came out this new crop circle dropped, guys. I don't know if you saw it yet, a couple weeks ago. Anyway, apparently they're still happening. Makes me want to grow some corn in my backyard, see if it'll get flattened. Thank you so much, Ed. Have a good dinner. Hope it's yummers. Lucifer is called the god of 1,000 names by the Illumidonkey. It's all about deception, isn't it? Crop dusting. Yes, Rob, thank you. Remember the last thing Q wrote, quote, "You have more than you know." Yeah, it's true. It's true. And on one hand, I'm like, okay, well, I really do feel prepared. Like Q has been preparing us to think for ourselves and to look into all of this. And we are the new, those hoax pictures being spread. And I'm like, we're not ready. We need a little bit more guidance. But then especially when weekends like this happen and, tragedies happen. And of course it's hard being on the outside and not knowing what is really going on. And I think all of us have a solid understanding that we are not getting the true story of what's going on. I think that we are more it's more of a wartime scenario than we even understand. And we are lucky enough to be shielded from it and protected. But at the same time, it's very frustrating when you are even semi-awake and knowing that these things are going on, not to know what is happening. I don't know what that means. I must have missed the first part of that. I feel like I've heard you mention Agenda 21 before. Have you looked into this at all? I watched a couple videos, but haven't seen as much about it as I thought there'd be. Yeah, that's definitely something that we should all kind of have a good understanding of, or at least, you know, a basic understanding of, because it is important. It will give you a new perspective on everything that we're seeing right now, especially in the government. I had someone telling me Satanists were good people because they said the Satanist Bible is peaceful. Well, I do think that there are like certain, I mean, really what it comes down to is most of the like really evil people doing the evil things that I think are worshiping terrible things are on the surface something else anyway. You know, they don't really admit to being what they are. And then I think you have this kind of group of, it's not the same thing, I don't think. And I don't know if I would call it peaceful, but whatever you believe, as long as you are not doing evil things and evil things to children, I don't think I really care. Although I mean, obviously I look at some of the things that people believe and I'm like, that's pretty crazy. But some people could say that about me. Honestly, to me, it's all about if you're hurting people or not. Everyone needs to watch the movie Network. What did I watch last night? I watched They Live for the first time. That was crazy. If you guys have seen that, or if you haven't seen that, I really suggest it. And you guys know I don't watch movies. I never watch movies. But I do have a list of like Q-related, I don't even want to say Q-related movies, but like movies that are kind of like Truth in Plain Sight, or things that have, you know, disclosure in it. People are saying this is closer to the truth than you would even imagine. And they'll give me recommendations for movies like that every once in a while. And I jot them down in my notes on my phone. V for Vendetta was one of them. Oh, I can actually use my phone because I'm not broadcasting from it. So let me see if I can find my list of movies. You guys might be interested in that. Let's see. Talk amongst yourselves for just a moment. I'd be so embarrassed if you guys could see my notes right now. Man, what? Oh, I guess I could just do a search, can't I? Hold on, guys. Grandma's trying to work with technology. Okay. Interesting. All right, I can't find it. We'll do it another time. Let me think of another thing that was on there, and then maybe I can do a search for that because that one wasn't on there. Yep, here we go. Okay, so, oh, that's funny. They Live was at the top of that thing, but I haven't looked at that at all. Running Man, Donnie Darko, Iron Sky, Stargate, 2001, 2010, Blade Runner, Minority Report, Total Recall, The Truman Show, that one I've seen, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, that one I've seen, Matrix, Deja Vu, The Equalizer, The Accountant, Edge of Tomorrow, The Great Year, Kung Fu Nazi, Why We Fight, Jupiter Ascending. Those might not all be, you know, Great Awakening related or disclosure related. I'm not sure. I might have put a few on here just like as my movie list. Those are just the ones that I plan on getting to, but I have not seen pretty much any movie on this list. I did get to Donnie Darko. I've seen The Truman Show. I've seen Eternal Sunshine. I've seen The Matrix. I think that's it. I haven't seen any of the rest of them. I think I started a couple other ones and I was like, I couldn't do it. I have no patience for movies these days. Demolition Man. Did I say that one? Was that on my list? because if not, I'll put on Austin Powers. I do love Austin Powers. I literally, that's funny you said that, because I literally thought I had a quote from Austin Powers in my head yesterday, and I literally just started giggling to myself and didn't stop for a good 45 seconds. Have I seen Sandlot? Yes, I have seen Sandlot. Incredible disclosure right in our faces with that one, right? T3 Arnold, Above Majestic. Well, yes, I have seen Above Majestic. That's why that wasn't on my list. But if you haven't seen it, then it should be on yours. The Running Man, Total Recall with Arnold, Cesario, Iron Sky. I think that one was on my list. She's a man, baby. That's not that's not what it was. Why is that movie so funny? I'm embarrassed at how funny I think that movie is. Oh yeah, Rosemary's Baby. Have I seen OMG on Netflix? No, I have not. I haven't watched anything on Netflix in a really long time. I'm boycotting them. The Network, was that on my list? The Network was, what was The Network? Was that the Facebook movie? Even Star Wars, yeah, I would say that. Manchurian Candidate, yes, that's true. I've read that book and seen that movie. The Jerk. Yeah, Rosemary's Baby. I'm trying to think of things that I didn't have on my list that maybe I know of because I wouldn't have had them on my list because I've already seen them. I do. Oh, the movie The Babysitter. I just happened to put it on one night and I was sitting there like my jaw on the floor. If you guys haven't seen The Babysitter, go watch that movie. It is like shockingly just, I can't even believe that they are putting it out there. I mean, all these things that they throw out there as fiction, and then we learn about what we learn about. We're just like, oh my gosh, it's been on our face the entire time. And actually, Bella Thorne is in that movie. She gets stabbed in the boob. And Bella Thorne, actually, if you guys haven't seen it, has started to come out recently talking about her sexual abuse going on her entire life by some man that lived with her and her family. And he was the guy that used to drive her to set and whatever. And then, of course, you've got these rumors and all of these terrible things happening to kids that work for Disney. And then we had another kid that was linked to Disney that recently died. And I know that there is a woman, somebody might be able to help me out here. I think her name is Tiffany something. And she did a whole deep dive on that. I haven't gone through it yet, but I've seen her dives into some other things. And she's very passionate about that topic too. So Demolition Man, Running Man for sure. The Church. They Live as a documentary. Rowdy Roddy Piper. Oh, tweeted and then he died. Really? That's interesting. I didn't know that. Iron Man 3. Interesting. Gladiator. Yeah, I also saw a bunch of stuff, not just about the Disney whatever, but also Kids Incorporated, and Fergie and Jennifer Love Hewitt were both on Kids Incorporated. I remember because I watched that show religiously when I was little. And they both, there are stories out there. I think actually some of it originated on that website called Crazy Days and Nights, that he's an LA attorney that's anonymous and says, he comes out with all of these completely, crazy sounding stories, and then they'll come out and be like, it'll be true. But he's talked about how those two girls in particular, I think, were, abused on set by these producers. And even the production company only did children's projects working with children. That's kind of weird to me. And that they were offered these bogus kind of record deals and stuff like that as they got older to kind of keep them quiet. But both of them have had whisperings of wanting to, come public with all of that stuff that happened to them. So anyway, that's really sad. Thank you so much. qmap.pub for Q drops. How to use funny spelling trick or this would be deleted instantly after sending again. Oh yes. And thank you for that. Yeah. And qmap.pub, that's where I send everybody, because I believe the app that I have for my phone no longer is downloadable. Like, it's still on my phone, works fine. Well, I wouldn't say it works fine. It crashes my phone literally every time I use it. But I like that I get a notification every time Q makes a drop. Then I just go to qmap.pub and I go and see what it says. Yes, Bill Maher has a production company with a weird name. That weird name is Kid Love Productions. Look it up. That's really gross. Olsen twins. Yeah, I remember I literally saw Bob Saget do live stand-up one time. This was years ago. Remember when there was a literal countdown? There was an internet countdown. You could go to a web page and see like the hours, days, minutes, and seconds until they turned 18, which is super gross. But I remember seeing Bob Saget live doing stand-up, just saying really gross things about the Olsen twins when they were still children. Am I sponsored by Pepsi? No. Yuck. Ew, is this owned by Pepsi? It's just from Target. So is my shirt. Oh, here it is, guys. Who's in that picture behind me? Pretty dude's gonna need his own live stream. There's my pretty dude. No idea who he is, and I think I just broke my table. But he's going bye-bye as soon as I paint my other frame, because I have a really cool painting of Nikola Tesla that's going up there. Thank you so much again. Some news sites are saying 8chan owner has to testify before Congress about the shooting. Do you think Congress will attack you also? Well, I think that we need to prepare for, more of what we're seeing, which is obviously that they are singling out the Q community as, being dangerous and all these things that we know that they aren't. It's literally the antithesis of what the Q community is about. And so I guess that would just depend on how dirty Congress still is. Bob Saget roast. Yes. Am I one of Epstein's victims? No, I've never met him. Congress will not go after Kate. There are way bigger fish to fry. Well, I would hope so. I would hope there were. Uh-oh, my chat just went away. Oh, it's back. Get on Gab. I believe I am on Gab. I don't know if I made an account and parked it. I don't even really know what Gab is. Sorry, guys. Grandma. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I'll check it out. I'll look. Like I need one more thing to check. But it's funny how like a lot of these sites, like, Twitter and Instagram, whatever. Sorry, now this is, I kind of follow the same people on Instagram that I follow on Twitter, but they are completely different communities. It's funny. Like really on Instagram, I see people kind of more going there. I don't know if it's because I follow a few more people that are perhaps a little ballsier than some of the people I follow on Twitter. Maybe a lot of people I follow on Twitter are a little, just being a little bit safer. Maybe people just know that Twitter goes harder on, censoring unauthorized thought. But so when these new things and even Facebook, I accidentally go on there from time to time and then I'm like appalled. Again, you've got these Q communities and it's always the same thing. Like I have been witnessing the Q community on 8chan. I witnessed the Q community on Reddit when the Great Awakening was on there. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And it's the tone can be different across them depending on what people are sharing. But you always know this community because they are peaceful and they are patriotic and they are all of these things. And then I noticed right before the Great Awakening, Reddit got taken down, all of a sudden these super aggressive voices started to show up that were completely out of place. They completely didn't fit in. You knew they didn't belong. And sure enough, then the Great Awakening gets deleted. So one of the things that these people do is send in their own knuckleheads to start making waves and saying the things that we're obviously not going to say because we don't believe them and we're not dangerous people and whatever, to as a tool to take us down. Any thoughts on how Q will communicate now? Hopefully 8chan will be back, and then when they are, hopefully Q will be back shortly after that. I don't know if 8chan takes a long time to get down. I don't know. Part of me thinks if the SH is really going to hit the fan, our last link, our last kind of connection to Q team are the presidential alerts. And then things will go directly to our phone. So it's not like they're completely cut off from us. Also, Trump can still communicate with us. And so obviously he can't say the things that the Q team can say, but retweeting, there are different ways for them to draw our attention to certain things. And I think if something was really important, we'd either get a presidential alert or something would happen on Twitter. Thank you so much. Let's Graffiti Q drops on city and media buildings is a good example of things we don't typically say or do. We don't see Q graffiti. We don't see Q patriots defacing other people's property. But that's funny. You wake up, there's ghoulish figures beside you, hauling a man by his legs, kicking and screaming. I don't know what that is. I must have missed the first part of that. Yep, you can read Q plus on Trump's Twitter. That's a fact. I really don't like how this chat just jumps when I'm trying to scroll. 8chan is back. It's just overloaded now. Cool, thank you. I'm going to check that out in just a minute. Actually, might as well just check it out right now. Let's see if I can get on. And then I can let you guys know for sure if I'm seeing it. Looks like it's loading, but it did that all day, so that doesn't mean anything yet. I'll let you guys know if that loads. Yeah, I mean, if something's important, they'll get us information somehow. Oh, did it load? Nope, it didn't. Yeah, it's still not loading for me. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Have a nice evening or morning or afternoon. What are your thoughts on Trump supporting red flag laws? I don't know. I will say that I don't think just because he's saying that right now necessarily means that's what he's going to go through with. So there could be some kind of strategy there, and that's what I'm hoping that it is, because I don't want to see those. I don't think that that's right. I think that system would get abused. And although it sounds like it would make sense, there are some flaws that I see with a system like that. 8chan on ZeroNet was not made by our team and have no idea who set that up. Q. Well, I don't know if that came from Q or where that came from. Thank you. Red pilled your mom this weekend. She's addicted to truth now. Well, that's great. Some of us fall very hard and fast. Some people take a lot of time, slowly. I swear my neck has been hurting ever since I touched that stupid Cleopatra's needle. It cursed me. I need what's that called? I need an exorcism. Anybody in here do exorcism? Can you get the gremlin out of my neck that's been living there for about a week? Someone said, whoever did the zero thing, it might have loaded CP on your computer. I don't know what CP is. Is that like malware? I don't even know what malware is. So that was just me trying to sound smart. But I know that they can put viruses and stuff on your computer if it's not a good site. So you have to be careful where you go. just red-pilled your mom sounds mean. I have a friend who literally hogtied his mother. She's a good sport. I need acupuncture. Yes, I do. It's been a while since I had acupuncture, but I used to get it all the time, and I swear by it. It's really great. Chiropractor too. I actually went to the chiropractor last week, but I have to go back. I was supposed to go back on Tuesday. Wait, today's Tuesday. I was supposed to go last Tuesday. Wait, no, today's not Tuesday. I'm a mess. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know if sometimes I think that your chat is going faster than what I see, but I'm sorry. I did acknowledge. I did see him. Thank you so much. Am I a natural blonde? I was when I was a child. Now my hair it's gray. It's just mostly gray. But I've been going gray since I got my first gray hair when I was like 17 or 18. My dad was fully gray at 22. So today is Tuesday. Thank you very much. The important information coming through on this broadcast, guys. Am I going to DOD in Ventura? I don't think so, unfortunately. I would really like to, though. But if you're going, have a really great time. Ventura is beautiful. And it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of really great speakers there. I keep seeing about these Mark Taylor prophecies. I'll have to look into that now. David Icke covers Agenda 21 pretty well. Good to know. Videos on his YouTube channel. Thank you for that. L-tyrosine reverses graying. You can get pills or eat spirulina. Spirulina makes me vomit. I don't know why. I have a huge bag of it in my pantry that I ordered. And I don't know if my body's just like, what is this? This nutrition is weird and doesn't know what to do with it. But I've tried. I guess I just have to like maybe I don't know if I have an allergy or something. That's a possibility. But yeah, the times I've taken it. Same thing with wheatgrass. Wheatgrass always makes me vomit immediately. I feel like a dog. Don't dogs eat grass to make themselves barf? Do you think Bill Barr will follow through with the indictments? I sure hope so. The wisdom streaks. My old hairdresser used to call them my sparkles. She'd be like, oh, you got a few more sparkles. Q rally. Yeah, the Q rally. I don't know what to think about that. I won't be there though. You will be at DOD and try to share with you as possible. Oh, that would be awesome. I would really appreciate that. That's awesome. And I did see that you can get like you can buy something to actually be able to watch dimensions of disclosure from your computer, so you don't actually have to physically be there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, no one likes algae. Gross. Yeah, it tastes really gross. But like, I could get past the taste as long if it didn't make me literally vomit. Do I think this DS evil started in America with Project Paperclip? Well, I do think that was one of the origins, at least within this country. But I think that the problem is that it's been around long before really this country was even a country. These super elite people that really control the world. And, while I think that the founding fathers of this country had the right idea in a lot of things, there was, it was always going to be, infiltrated. Scrumptious. Thank you. I have heard rumors of Bill Clinton being arrested and Hillary hiding in Germany, but I've heard rumors like that for maybe like 2 years now, so I don't get my hopes up on anything. Until I get that message on my phone that, says, what is it? Dear Americans or whatever, my fellow Americans. What tastes like crackers? Yeah, that's interesting about the gray hair thing. So it reminds me of, I was reading I don't know if this will be interesting to you guys at all or not, but I do think that part of, our health and like detoxing our bodies and stuff like that definitely is connected to all of this stuff, because it's incredible to me what flies, what they're able to, market and sell us to eat and put on our skin and whatever. But when I was going through infertility years ago, I read this book that's called something about the egg. It's all about the egg or something like that. So as you get older, obviously you have more, there are more cases of, you have more problems trying to get pregnant, staying pregnant, more problems with the embryo and the fetus and baby, whatever. And so what they were finding was it actually wasn't that because, you have your eggs from birth, and, you release one a month. You guys are getting a sex ed class right now. Sorry. But you release one a month. So like if you're a woman in her 40s, your eggs aren't 40. They're kind of frozen in time until like the month before you ovulate, when they start getting ready. So within that time, it's really the toxins in your body that are attacking the egg and ages the egg and then causes damage. So if you can detox your body before that egg is, I almost said laid, ejected, whatever, then you can actually reverse aging of your eggs. And so it was a good education on like BPAs and all of these toxins that come to us through plastics. Man, I tried to rid my life of plastic, and you don't really realize how much we come in contact with plastic until you try to get rid of it completely from your life. It's like impossible. And, even like BPA free plastics and stuff like that. I actually did find dishware that was made out of bamboo. I really like that. I feel like that's a good substitute, but it's obviously not as easy to find. Where was I going with this? I guess more just about like detoxing your body. And I started taking CoQ10 and NAC something, or it's NAC. It's whatever they give you when you overdose on Tylenol. I forgot what that's called. But anyway, all of these, ways. And then like, I stopped using fluoride. I started filtering the fluoride from my water, just all of these, just trying to get all of the crap out of my body. Fasting, I have never been one I can't fast. I would love to fast. People swear by it, but I have no self-control when it comes to that. Like I get hungry. I tend to be on the anemic side. And if I don't eat, I get very low energy. I know they say to like push through that. Probably if I push through it, I'd be able to do it, but whatever. The elite goes back to before the time of Egyptians. Kate's an egg-laying alien. Thank you. Yes, guys. Well, I think that's all I have for you. This has been an hour and 22 minutes. I'm already done, you guys, obviously. I was done before we even began. That whole trying to figure out how to go live from my computer thing really took it out of me. But I guess just, what I really wanted to convey was just for you guys to hang in there, and also to tell you that you guys help me hang in there all the time, all of your messages, every time, somebody sends me a tweet, anytime somebody comments on one of these videos. I've been getting really lovely emails sent to me, everything. You guys are just it really helps. I'm really glad that this community exists. Let's keep it going. When I've got my weekdays, you guys lift me up. If you guys have weekdays, please, you know what I'm saying. WEAK, days, feel free to reach out to me. I do feel bad because I don't get to people like as quickly as I should. I think I've got like a 3-day lag right now. If you've emailed me, it's taking typically about 3 days for me to get back to you. But if it's important, if you're going through a hard time and you email me, I will make sure to make you a priority. But thank you guys so much. You're very, very lovely people. And I will be back. I don't know when, but soon. And hopefully it will work next time. But thank you guys so much for being here. Toodaloo.